Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share my first update on my experience with the Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Carbon Gen 13. Now, this is arguably the best Ultrabook on the market, especially running Intel Silicon, the Ultra 7 processor with 140V ARC integrated GPU. 32 gigs of RAM, a 1 terabyte NVMe drive. It happens to be a Gen 5 drive. I mean, this is really an amazing little laptop. Roughly 2.5 pounds, 3K, just about 2.8K OLED display, 500 nits peak brightness. It is not touchscreen, matte finish. We've got a full HD webcam with privacy shutter. Over 50 watt hour battery. I think it's like 56, I believe, approximately 54. You can correct me if I'm wrong. It's a negligible difference. The bottom line here is amazing battery life, amazing performance, 2.5 pounds. It has all the I/O that you could possibly want. It has, of course, the ThinkPad standard, really standard of the industry keyboard, best in the business. The trackpad is not haptic. I know some of you will find fault with that, but ThinkPad users are pretty much accustomed to that. I'm not saying it shouldn't change. And you have your track point. That is not gone like on the Gen 1 X9. So really, I can't point to anything that is a shortcoming on this machine. Again, the Intel chip does its job very well. The integrated GPU does that as well. You're about to see that now with a real-time time spy score. And I just really struggle to find anything to complain about on what is, in my opinion, the best machine of its kind here in 2025. Now, the X1 Carbon has always been top of the line with its carbon fiber chassis, incredibly light footprint, without sacrificing performance. But here, with Intel's new chip, the performance bar has been really raised because this is as loud as the machine gets, which you're likely not going to hear. Maybe you will. There's a hiss going on, definitely audible, but that's under full load. Best performance with, being benchmarked in Time Spy, where traditionally a machine like this would be much louder. And then the even crazier part is, again, the actual performance it yields and battery life. So the X1 Carbon right now, I think this model, again, the link is in the description, is a little over $2,200 US, and that's certainly a premium for a machine that is, at the end of the day, an Ultrabook with amazing I/O in a ThinkPad carbon fiber chassis. But that shouldn't be anything to scoff at. I mean, literally, there is not another machine that I can directly compare this to. I know some will say Asus has something up their sleeve. I'm a big Asus fan, but nothing Asus makes, in my opinion, rivals ThinkPad. And ThinkPad fans, users who've been using this for God knows how long, depending on your age, quite frankly, and how long you've been computer inclined, so to speak, I don't think there's any way to really break that relationship. I mean, the only way that would happen is if Lenovo, stopped making ThinkPads. Now, 3785 isn't going to break a record, but for the X1 Carbon, it is. This means we can actually game at full HD without any question. And because this is a 2.8K OLED, you better believe it's going to be fun on this tiny little business machine to be able to play a little bit here and there. So Battlefield 5, I'm going to go ahead and drop this down to 1080p Ultra because I think that's just a better standard for the 140V. And you can see with Battlefield 5, 80 plus frames, totally playable. Apex Legends is going to be blown out of the water, 130 plus. GTA 5, 150 plus. Red Dead, definitely the most demanding title in this benchmark quota. 45 plus frames, and then Fortnite over 190 frames. So this thing can game. That means it can also video edit. Is it going to be ideal as a video editing machine? No, just like it's not ideal as a gaming machine, but the fact of the matter is it's actually usable in a practical sense where historically Ultrabooks could do it, but you never would want to do it. It was more like if you had no other option, and that's what Ultrabooks represented. Now we're finally moving into an area where they make sense. And of course, as AMD gets some of those new 395 chips out there into the wild, hopefully in machines one day like this, granted they don't offer huge battery efficiency, but the performance that they deliver, I mean, the integrated GPU smokes this, but doesn't do so with this sort of battery performance. And that's what makes right now, in my opinion, Lunar Lake a great option for these machines. Of course, we'll see what AMD puts forth, and that's me leaning into wanting the best of both worlds, an integrated GPU that can deliver phenomenal gaming performance like we're seeing in the Asus current Flow Z13 for 2025. Getting that Ryzen chip in here would be phenomenal. So maybe down the road, but for now, this is still phenomenal and nothing to scoff at. And well, before I get to build, again, just taking a look at that Gen 5 NVMe, if you weren't expecting read-write speeds like that, you should have been. I mean, just amazing performance. And then even when it comes to something as simple as video playback, it's a gorgeous display. Again, matte, I really appreciate. No glare to deal with. The speakers are surprisingly good too. Take a listen. I have to unmute it though. And I'll take that up to 100%. Here with the Digital Digest, and today I'm unboxing the Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Carbon Gen 13. I'll include a link in the description. As a marketing sample, this one has not. I do have to come to the other side of the machine. Ultrabook that's going to do it all, even some light gaming. Now, I mentioned the fact that we have Intel's latest integrated GPU. Go ahead and grab a... So the Wi-Fi 7 chipset, if you haven't noticed, is excellent. And that's not to scoff at my network here, because I do have a mesh. It was Wi-Fi 7 for about a month, but I had to downgrade, go back to a 6E unit I was using, and I still get, gigabit Wi-Fi across the house. So it's excellent, and this machine shines. So here's a little video sample. Let me go ahead and bump it up to 4K, just so we have the highest quality possible, at least per YouTube. And here we go. 500 nits peak brightness, 100% DCI-P3 as you would expect. Just excellent overall quality. It's an amazing tiny machine. And this is literally what I've always been after. I mean, if I go back to my first laptop, those of you that follow the channel already know, because it was part of a video years ago for April Fools, was my Sony Picturebook. Small, light, competent, capable. It's always been the mark I've been looking for, of course, sans gaming capability. Now we live in a world where you can get all of that and game. And that's what's so exciting. Granted, it's not going to be, a Legion 9i of any sort, or even a 7i. But to be able to game on a ThinkPad with a display this nice, 2.5 pounds approximately, it just checks every box. So you've seen what the gaming performance benchmarks look like. You've seen what the Gen 5 NVMe 1 terabyte drive on board is capable of. I mean, this is just an ideal machine. The only thing it's missing is touchscreen, and I know some of you don't care for it. I personally like having it. It's an added convenience that I always look for. Some of you won't care that the track point is there. Some of you won't consider it a ThinkPad unless it's there. So we've talked about pretty much everything. Again, the keyboard is amazing. That's one of the things that whenever I'm not on a ThinkPad, I inherently miss. And then your privacy switch for the webcam there. The carbon fiber is not to be in any way, or the value of it, understated, in my opinion. It's just, I love it. I'm a carbon fiber fan, so when I can get a machine made of carbon fiber, I am listening. Again, just so we go over everything. Type A USB port, 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports. We come around to the other side of the machine, HDMI 2.1, your Kensington lock, another Type A USB port, headphone, microphone, combo jack, power button, and that's it. Thin, light, everything you could possibly want. I mean, this is what it's about. A little bit of a fingerprint magnet, but it cleans up well because the quality, again, on that carbon fiber chassis, I mean, I love this thing. This, to me, is, if money is not an issue, budget is irrelevant to you, you will not do better in 2025 than the X1 Carbon when it comes to a thin and light, powerful machine that can do it all and sacrifices virtually zero on the I/O front. I mean, one of the biggest problems we have these days is that I/O is gone, not when it comes to the X1 Carbon Gen 13. Really love what Lenovo's done here. Just have to clean it up a little bit, but it's already fading. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them at that like button. And as usual, please feel free to subscribe, and please stay safe. Later.